is there any scientific rationale for separate vaccines, Doc?
That's a great question, and that's what parents are asking. Is there a higher risk option between deciding of getting your child vaccinated altogether versus separating those three vaccinations, the measles, the mumps, and the rubella? And the answer is that actually has been studied and tested. And the American Academy of Pediatrics has shared that when comparing children who have gotten their doses altogether versus children who have gotten their doses separately, there is a similar outcome in terms of adverse events and immune responses. And it's important to understand that when parents are making these decisions, there is no higher risk option. But the concern is that if you separate these vaccinations, and I'm sure many parents can understand, that means more visits, that means more injections, and that decreases the likelihood of children being able to complete their full vaccination status. And that's so important because now we have more than 280,000 children currently in kindergarten that are not up to date on their vaccinations and at risk of infection.
So what would you say to a parent concerned about the current shot?
Yesterday's statements, that executive order that was posted by the president, wasn't based in fact or any data. And that's so important to understand because that decision leads many parents to questioning whether or not the MMR vaccine is safe. And it's so important to understand that vaccines are arguably the most studied intervention in medicine, significantly higher than most prescribed medications and exponentially higher than most supplements you'd grab over the counter. When we're in medicine, we're constantly making the decision of risk and benefit. And it doesn't state, and we should make sure people understand, vaccines aren't zero risk. There are certainly rare risks associated with vaccinations. For example, 1 out of a million cases, vaccination will lead to a severe allergic reaction. It's one of the reasons why we continue to advise parents to monitor children after vaccinations. But what we're not discussing is the very real risk of disease. Approximately 30% of cases of measles will come down with some type of a complication, Kira. That can include outcomes like pneumonia, encephalitis, or swelling of the brain, and even a problem secondary to measles infections called immune amnesia, where the virus actually eliminates your ability to remember the way you fought other infections, making you more susceptible to disease. That's 30% of complications of measles, and right now we have the highest rate of measles that we've had in over 35 years. So what I advise to parents is talk to your providers, talk to physicians who actually treat these conditions and understand the complications so that you can make the best decision, which is the lowest risk option, which is getting your child vaccinated to protect them against preventable disease.
So when he signed this order, the president spoke repeatedly about addressing rising rates of autism. What does the research show about why autism is rising and what causes it?
You're correct. The president, as well as other administrators, continue to pose this idea that there is a possible link between autism and vaccinations. It is so important to understand that that question was asked, and it's pretty much a straightforward question. In science, you can compare children who have gotten vaccinated to children who have not gotten vaccinated, and you can ask the question, is there a rise in the rate in autism? And that question was asked and studied over 5 million children, more than 7 countries and multiple continents. And the answer is that there is no association between vaccinations and autism. So it's so important to understand that when we talk about risks of vaccine, there are certainly rare risks associated with them, but autism is not one of them.